Welcome to Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show, with your host, Kinte and Shannon. This program hosts a weekly panel of men and women who discuss topics such as dating, the workplace, family, spirituality, cheating, and of course, sex. Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, this show is simulcasted live audio and video between the website indieradio.org and YouTube, which allows listeners all over the world to gather together to tackle challenging relationship issues. And now here is your host, Shannon and Kinte.
Hello, and welcome to an all-new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show. I am one of your hosts, Kinte, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and I'm so happy to be here with you on a special day. Normally, we're on Mondays, but because of a certain person, we're doing it on Tuesday, and you know who that person is. That's my lovely co-host, the one and only Shannon. So we're gonna start off the show by getting knee deep into your business. Why are we doing the show on Tuesday, Shannon?
Well, the honest answer, Kinte Ferguson, is because I forgot that I was gonna be on a plane yesterday. That late. I don't know why I thought I was gonna be home earlier, but that was a lie. I didn't get home until like after midnight.
Oh yeah, where were you at?
My place of birth, Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha, Nebraska. You're from Omaha, Nebraska, for real?
I am.
Oh.
I am.
I heard it's very warm there.
Not right now.
That's what I heard. I heard it's boiling hot.
No, they currently are under snow advisory. They canceled school for tomorrow. It snowed all weekend long. We were slipping and sliding like we were sledding down the street. Yeah, it was beautiful.
They have black people in Omaha, Nebraska?
Don't do that.
They in witness protection?
I'm about to give you an education lesson. So here is Omaha, Nebraska in less than a minute. Okay. Omaha, Nebraska is the birthplace of Malcolm X, also home of Gabrielle Union, Johnny Carson, and Warren Buffett. It has most millionaires per capita, used to be telemarketing capital of the world, top 5 zoos in the country, home of the College World Series. Your frozen foods originated from ConAgra Foods, which they sold that part of their subsidiary to Chicago. So now it comes out of Chicago plant, but it's still ConAgra, which is from Omaha, Nebraska. David Sunflower Seeds, Orville Redenbacher, Omaha Steaks. Shall I continue?
I still don't come.
Omaha. Don't come for Omaha. That's what you're not gonna do. The movie Belly was made in Omaha. There are many movies.
You said a movie Belly was made in Omaha. Ooh.
I'm just saying. We may not be LA, but Omaha is on the map, boo boo.
Okay, I didn't know black folks was there.
Stop it.
Well, there was when they made Belly though. Then that's where all the population quadrupled.
Look, the little Malta. There is like Omaha's a big city. I mean, it's not the capital, Lincoln is, but it is a big city. 500,000 people.
Okay. You know your stats and everything. Go ahead, Omaha.
And furthermore, because my best friend is a history teacher, Omaha is bigger than Metro Atlanta.
All right, you're bigger than Atlanta. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Don't do me like that. Don't do us like that. That's how I met Traci in Omaha, Nebraska.
Well, that's a good thing.
You said you wanted an Omaha girl anyway, so stop stunting like your dad.
That's a good thing. That is a good thing. So this show today is your brainchild. So what we're going to do is we're going to let you introduce our wonderful panel as well as get the show set up. And I want to give a quick shout out to all the people in the chat room. I see there's a bunch of people on, but they let us know that they're there. Besides, we see Traci and we see Imani in the chat room, of course, me and Shannon. Make sure that you, on the right side, press in the say something part. Let us know that you're here. All right, the floor is yours.
Like, well, hi, Imani, because you said her and she's not in the panel. So I'm going to introduce the ladies first. And I'll probably start with our newest podcaster to the show. I'll start with Natasha. Natasha, tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself, and welcome.
Okay, hi. My name is Natasha. I'm an island gal born in Brooklyn, um, raised in Florida. I currently reside in the Tampa Bay area. I hold a degree in communication, so I do love to run my mouth, but to debate. My mother likes to say I'm a born lawyer, so I like to go hand in hand with both of them.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Glad to have you on the show. And
thank you. I'm glad to be here.
You're welcome. Next is no newcomer to the show. She goes by many different names. She's the you that you need to have in your life. None other than Q. Q, how are you?
Hey, I'm Q. I'm doing amazing. I completely zoned out for a hot minute listening to Natasha speak because her voice is so melodic. So my bad. I am a writer. I'm an author, editor with Vital Narrative Press. I am a professional. I'm very successful at what I do, and I'm here today to mess with you.
I love it. I love it. And last but not least, in the women's side of the panel, we have my friend who I met in Omaha, Nebraska. Although she is not born and raised in Omaha, Nebraskan. None other than podcaster, radio segmenter, connoisseur of many things. Traci J, as I call her. How are you, ma'am?
I am absolutely wonderful. I am Traci, and I actually reside in Sarasota, Florida, by way of Tampa, Florida. Born in Buffalo, New York, raised in Los Angeles, California. So,
hey,
I'm all over the place, girl. Graduated from Carson High, yay! I'm all over the place kind of girl. I do have a radio broadcast as well as a blog, as well as a Facebook Live, and we'll catch up on all of that in the end.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. And so our next person is holding it down for the men folk, because I don't know, they must have got scared tonight. So this young man posts every day why he loves Black women. And I'm telling y'all, this post is like bananas. So I'm going to introduce to y'all none other than Mr. Hot Takes.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Like she said, my name is M Newman. Thank you for allowing me to be on the podcast. I am originally born in Boston, Massachusetts. I am a military brat. Found my way from there to Germany, to California, to North Carolina, to now residing here in Orlando, Florida, the House of the Mouse. Looking forward to engaging with the ladies on this evening.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. So the topic of conversation is what men and women want. And that want has a leg room of conversation, what we want in life, what we want in love, what we want in relationships. But in essence, what it all boils down to is what we want from each other, because we're here to talk about relationships. Whether it's the lack thereof, whether you're in one, whether you're trying to be in one, whether you're dating. So let's open this up to every single person. Kente, you are included. Who in here is actively dating? I think I already know this answer, but Q, it's always you. It's always you. I'm gonna stop inviting.
No, right? I feel like it's a setup.
You can define actively dating.
Are you seeing someone, Natasha?
No, but
if he were to post something on social media, would you be burnt about it?
Wait, say that again.
If he were to post about another woman on social media, would you be like pissed about it?
Oh hell no, I didn't know that.
If he were to post about another woman on social media,
then y'all not dating, then I would assume.
Yeah, okay. So she's single and ready to mingle. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So Alan, Kente, y'all single? Traci, you single?
I'm Are we saying single, exclusive single?
Oh,
We're not
Lord.
going to use 2018, 2019 whole
I'm actually single. So if someone was to post something, no one would get mad at me if I said I'm single. So I'm single.
Okay. Good to know. I hear feedback. Okay. So I was just hanging out with some girlfriends, and we'll have this conversation, and actually it's gonna lead into you, Alan, because of what you posted, and I told you to save it. I was watching what men want this past weekend. And what I thought was really interesting was the comment that the gentleman suitor for Taraji, what he said was, men and women in essence want the same thing. They want to be respected. They want to be loved. They want somebody, on the same level with them. But in order to know what a man wants, you need to, and I'm paraphrasing, so don't nobody come at the movie Bible and throw something at me. You need to understand what's in his heart. So, in essence, Alan, do you agree, being one of the lone men on this podcast? Do you believe that's what men want? Men want the same thing women want? Because she wasn't a believer in that statement.
To be honest, and it might rub people the wrong way, it's a case by case. I don't really want to say that all men think that, and I don't want to say that all men don't think that way. Because all of us are individually minded. We're wired completely different.
Right.
Especially when you look at how they were raised. Because like myself, there's a lot of things that I do differently that most guys don't do, but I do it because of how I was raised with having my dad in the house with me. My dad's extremely old school. So with him, I was taught that you cater to the needs of a female. I was taught that you listen to what she needs. I was taught that you kind of be that second inner voice for her. Some people aren't wired that way. You have some guys.
Doesn't that come down to the definition of what love is?
Depending on how, okay, so what would you consider, since we're saying that, what is your definition of what love is? Because everyone looks at love differently.
Well, I feel like love is seen differently. For example, if you grew up in a really, really abusive household and you see your parents constantly go at it, in your mind, you could perceive it as love is a very abusive situation, a very toxic situation, thus seeking that out in other relationships, correct? Whereas if you see healthy ideas of what love is, so essentially we all want love, but it's how we define love in the way is what we're actually receiving, whether we need that or not.
And I agree with that. You're absolutely right.
It's how you were raised. You perceive love how you saw it when you were in whatever environment you were raised in. So I think
how you were nurtured.
Right. Yeah.
Now, once you become an adult, do you still hold on? Because you can grow past what you were nurtured in. I mean, there are people that were nurtured in violence and drugs and alcohol that don't grow up to be alcoholics, drug addicts, and violent.
And that's that person redefining what love is and figuring out what is a healthier thing. That's not, I still think everyone fundamentally wants love, but it depends on how that person is defining it, redefining it, exploring what it means to them, exploring how it is around them, because we all have this idea of love in fairy tales, but no one's looking for a love in fairy tales because it's naive. Whereas you could see someone that has had a really, really tough past and think, oh, I'm not going to date a guy that's going to dote on me. I'm not going to date a guy that's going to do X, Y, Z. When in actuality, that's very possible. So that can obviously change as you get older and you're exposed to new and different things. But fundamentally, across the board, everyone wants love, right?
I would hope so. But some of them, what you said, some people are actively pursuing fairy tale love. Let's just be honest. Everybody is not normal.
I mean, there are people actively pursuing a lot of crazy.
I'm just saying. There are people not living in reality. Just the craze of people, how we respond to dating today. Yeah, I totally believe there are people that are believing in the fantasy, and it's ridiculous. So, Kente, because you're the other man on the podcast and you didn't answer this, do you think that men and women, in essence, want the same thing in terms of relationship?
I do believe that. I believe essentially we're all very similar. I think the thing that makes us different are generally around the edges. Like, some people like peanut butter and jelly, some people like peanut butter and bananas. So I think but for the most part, most human beings essentially are very similar. You rarely find people that are truly unique. People believe they're unique when really they're just like everybody else. So, and nobody wants to hear that, but it's the truth.
Yeah, it's true because mom and dad told me I was special. Mom and dad told me I could do whatever I put my mind to it.
Listen, honey.
I have never met someone who didn't think they were unique.
We all are unique.
In their own special way.
Right.
We are. I mean, we're all, as much as we are different, we are the same.
We are the
so,
same.
I mean, there's two sides to this.
The coin.
If I could
So when you say
interject this, if I
when
have
we want
it.
the same thing, what is that same thing? Is it what Q said, that we all want love, or we all want respect, or we all just...
Well, see, that's exactly what I wanted to touch on, because I'm about to completely geek out. Have you guys have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of wants, right? So it's like fundamentally you need oxygen and water and food, and then you need shelter, and then at the very top, I believe, of the pyramid, it's like you need social acceptance, you need love, you need care. Love's probably a little bit closer to sleep. I don't know the fucking pyramid, but something like that. So like fundamentally and human wise, all want the same essential stuff. I mean, unless you're a sociopath, because then you don't care and you're indifferent to everything.
Yeah.
So what is that same thing?
Right.
Because we're talking about what men and women want. We're saying we want essentially the same thing. What is that same thing that we all want?
Like respect, love, honesty, however we define it. However the concept is defined, that's what we want.
I think
now is that the foundation, but how it's given to us may look different. Like I play into the 5 love languages, and how someone else may receive love. They may like acts of service, or they may like receiving gifts. Well, those two aren't really things that to me define love for me. So for me, it's quality time and physical touch. So if you all the way in Timbuktu talking about you love me, I'm like, you're a liar. You got to show improvement.
I don't know, man. I think them guys. I think those guys in Timbuktu might love you, Tran.
And I'm here for it. However, if that's where you doing it from, if you loving me from Timbuktu and we're never together, then I'm not feeling it the way you think you want me to feel it. Because
that's so interesting. That's a long time to realize.
You know how much a plane ticket costs from Timbuktu to the Florida Keys?
Man, listen, you better save up them points.
You gotta give them time.
How long I'm gonna give him? Jesus gonna be back before he give it to Florida Keys.
So you can't say that his inability to be with you doesn't mean he doesn't love you.
No. That's not what I said. I said I may not feel the love that he is projecting. Okay. Again, our love languages are different, and I think that for me lies the problem. People want to love you the way they show love, and that's great. I mean, however, that does not. I may not be fluent in the way you show love. So sometimes you have to be open to being taught how to love me, because you don't know how to love me. So I'm gonna have to show you that.
And that's when communication plays. That's when communication comes in. And I think if anything to help you figure out that person's definition of love is talking about it. If I know that for me, if you affirm me every day and that lets me feel love, if I don't tell you that and you're giving me gifts and you're wondering why I'm getting frustrated, that's on me, because I'm not telling you, hey, the way I know you love me is every time you see me, Alan, babe, you're doing a good job. Babe, I appreciate this. Babe, you did it. Because that's what I need to know that you love me. Just like if you were to say, you know what, Alan, I like gifts. I like surprises. Every time you get a chance, surprise me with something. That's your love language. Okay, you may get flowers at your job. You may get chocolate here. You may get a teddy bear here because you're communicating with me. If you're not telling me what you need, this is the worst thing I think affects relationships. We live in such a bubble with social media that we look at these celebrities and we see what they're doing and we're like, oh my God, that's what I want. Oh my God, he does her this way. I need that. But that might not be your love language. Right. If you're not communicating and I'm sitting here giving you gifts out the yin yang, I'm just making it rain. I'm just making it rain. I'm just making it rain. And you still like, that means nothing to me. That means absolutely nothing to me. And then when the relationship breaks down, and then when you separate, and then one day you have a aha moment, you're like, oh, what really made us not work out together? Oh, babe, it's because you never listened to me when I told you what I wanted. Yes, I did. I gave you gifts. I never asked for gifts.
Right.
I just wanted you to be there when I got off for work, and I'm upset. Matter of fact, there was a post I think I put in the group a couple of weeks ago where a female doesn't really want a guy to sit there and be the logical person when she vents at work. She's coming back from work. Yo, this chick did this. I'm tired of her. She made me mad. She cussed me out. She's not waiting for me to say, let me play devil's advocate, dear. Right. You know, if you probably would have communicated properly to her, maybe she wouldn't have made you mad. Nah, Negro, that's not what she wants to hear. She wants you to get amped with her. You right, babe. You should have busted in the head, but I know you can't do that because of where you work at. Because you're communicating. You got to be able to work with the ebbs and flows of your relationship. And if you're not willing to open up communication, that is the biggest part of the whole thing. Like, people tend to forget you do have to talk to each other. And there's a difference from listening and hearing. And a lot of people don't listen. They just hear what you got to say. It goes out the other ear and they go about their business. And then when they're sitting here, they're breaking up with multiple people. I don't understand what's the problem. After a while, it's probably not the other person. It's probably you. But if you don't have someone willing to communicate that to you, you're not going to know that.
Yeah.
And not only that, communicate honestly. You got to be willing to communicate honestly. A lot of times we don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. So we won't say really what's going on. We'll sugarcoat it. But you got to be able to communicate honestly, because you got to be able to deal with the good as well as the bad in a relationship. I feel if communication to me is everything. It's like blood to the body. If I can't talk to you, if I can't relate to you, you can't understand me and I can't understand you. We really can't go anywhere.
So here's a question. If love language plays a huge part in communication, is it realistic to say, okay, this is how I give and receive love. I'm only going to date a partner that is compatible in these two ways. No. Is that a good way to even navigate dating at that point?
If you're open to, I mean, that's just like what I do for a living. I'm not looking for someone who necessarily knows how to do the work. I'm looking for someone who has a passion to learn the work.
Right.
No different than relationships. Right. I'm not looking for someone who knows how to do me. I'm looking for someone who's passionate about learning how to do me. I mean, if you're studying me before I met you, you might be a stalker and we have questions. So I just need to know that you're interested, because anything worth having is work. So are you willing to do the work? Are you willing, like Alan said, to communicate? And like Traci said, communicate honestly, because it's one thing to communicate. It's another deeper level to communicate with some honesty. And then
that's a big issue with people. People don't like to be truthful.
Absolutely. And be authentic and transparent in yourself. And then to be vulnerable. We live in a world.
You have to admit you're, Oh, that's terrible.
It's difficult because it's a risk. You're taking this huge risk on another imperfect, flawed person. And it's like, do you want to put in the work? Even after you knew, hey, these are my isms. These are my issues. And the other person is like, okay, these are my isms. These are my issues. And y'all mesh well. Y'all vibe well. Y'all gel well. You still got to do the work.
That still takes a level of knowing oneself, because I feel like the only problem with this entire argument is that there are so many people that have no idea what love languages are. So many people that don't understand what's wrong and why things are failing, don't understand what they're hearing when they're trying to listen. It's going right over their head. And it's like, I mean, it makes sense to us because we're already talking on this foundation of knowledge, whereas, you know, does the average person, because I know a ton of people that don't know this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it even goes back to what you just said before you talked about the love languages. It's like that goes to a deeper level of understanding yourself. It's a lot of people running out here who don't know who they are.
Don't know themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's very true.
Let alone a love language. They don't know who they are. They don't know what makes them happy. They don't know what it's like. Like dating is one thing, but how about being single by yourself, taking yourself out, enjoying it? Because if you can't enjoy you by yourself, how you expect somebody else to do it?
And that's true. That's very true. Because I've actually have friends who think the weirdest thing, and y'all may laugh as well. I'm one of them dudes. If I want to go see a movie, I will go see a movie by myself. I'll go have dinner by myself. I'll go shopping by myself. I'm loving on myself. Now, a lot of people feel like, oh no, that's weird. Because there's some people, an issue that I think happens when it comes to love. There's some people that they go in one relationship, they leave it, go into another one. They leave it, go into another one. They leave it and go into another one. They never resolve the issue that happened in the first relationship that broke off. One thing I tell a lot of people, when I break up with someone, I step back because I'm not just looking at what happened with that individual that made me want to end the relationship. I need to reevaluate and say, hey, Alec, what did you do or not do that also attribute to the breakdown? So if that means that I need to wait 6 months, 8 months, a year to rebuild, I'm going to take that time. But in today, because people are not okay with being lonely, they're not cool with being by themselves, they feel like they need to sit there. It's pretty much like somebody with an insatiable appetite. I got to eat everywhere I go. I'm at home, I eat a bowl of cereal. I get out the car, I see a McDonald's, I got to stop and I got to eat there. I go up there, I see a Burger King, I got to stop and I eat there. I'm never satisfied, but then I'm upset because when I get back home, I'm still hungry because there's a hole there. I never resolved whatever issue I had with myself with being alone. I think if people can understand that, then they can make the strides in finding out what love is.
It's a lot of
that's so true, because I was married 31 years, and when I got divorced 7 years ago, I thought I knew what I wanted in a relationship. But after getting into a relationship, I realized I didn't even know who I was. I had no clue as to what I wanted, who I was, how to get it, because I had been in that relationship for so long. It's now 7 years later, and I'm just now getting to the point to where I can say, okay, Traci, this is what you like. This is what you want. This is if this guy has this or doesn't have that. But you're absolutely right. You got to take some time to clean out from everything.
And then people forget.
You jump into another relationship.
Exactly. And people forget that we as humans are meant to evolve over time. So what I liked when I was 21, I'm 34. I may not like that no more. I learned that the hard way from a previous relationship. Everyone looks at the fact that I talk a lot. They're like, Alan's a talker. He likes to talk. And I tell people that. But in my last relationship, I realized, and I have people laugh, I am very sociably antisocial. And I learned that in my last relationship. Because every time she wanted to spend time with me, I'm like, yo, can I get space? Can I get space? Can I breathe? And to her, she was like, but I'm giving you space because I'm allowing you to work Monday through Friday and I don't bother you. I text you, that's it. But hey, maybe Monday through Friday, I got beat up all week. I may need to recover Friday night. I may need to recover Saturday night. So I had learned that, yes, I'm a sociable person, but I started to learn that, hey, you have moments where you're like, yo, get out my face. And that is something that I did not want to admit, because when you think about it, especially when you're dealing with the opposite sex, you do not want her to feel like you don't value her time or you don't care for her. And it's not that I didn't care for her or I didn't value her time. I was learning there's sometimes I've learned I had to communicate. Babe, if you want to talk to me today, you might want to give me an hour when I get off of work and I'll hit you up just because of the day I had. And that is, once again, communicating. And the issue was I never said that to her. Never said it at all until we broke up. And now when I talk to friends about it, I say it out loud and they're like, Alan, did you tell that to her? No. Why didn't you? And women hate that.
Well, you know what? Alan, I want to say that was very kind of her to allow you to work Monday through Friday. Very, very, very nice. I want to make a couple of points. One, I want to reiterate, I see a bunch of people in the chat room. We want to hear from you. Let your voices be heard. Know where that came from. The chat is on the right side where it says say something. let us know that you are here. We're also on the Get Vocal platform as well in Periscope. So I have them all open so we can all, I can take answers or questions from all of them. Okay, now I hear you keep referencing a group. Alan, can you tell us about that group?
Okay, so we're actually in a group. This is exactly how we corresponded. We're actually in a group called Black Christians and Single with No Kids. And it gives you a unique perspective on how Christians look and view dating. The funny thing is it gives you two sides to the coin, because you have some who are very open about how they date. Then you have others that are very closed-minded with how they're dating. A lot earlier when we were talking about the people saying, I'm waiting for him to break into my house and propose to me so I get married. We have some Christians in the group that they don't believe that they need to make the effort. They don't need to step out. That miraculously, God's going to strike the dude in the head and be like, that's your wife. Now, granted, like I said, I do have some family and friends who that kind of happened. They met at a conference, they hit it off, and they got married. But that is not everybody. Matter of fact, that is few and far between. But in this group, unfortunately, I know they're watching, so I know I'm going to catch some heat, but a lot of them live in a fantasy world in regards to that. And the reason why I can say that, because I speak from experience. I grew up believing when I turned 24, God was going to show me my wife one day. Like, there she is. Like, you're going to get married at 24. You're going to have 3 kids. You're going to be working in the city. You're going to have a white picket fence. Everything's covered.
10 years later?
Yes, I'm 34. I'm single. Happily single. I ain't complaining. Happily single. But that expectation for me has changed because the dynamic has changed. For one thing, I think a lot of Christians put an onus on getting married, having kids, having a family. That's all well and good, but I want to enjoy. There's more to life than me having kids and having a family. I have my immediate family, but I want to travel. I think what has helped me with that is for the fact having 2 parents that were in the military. So they traveled a lot before they got married. So for me, it puts it in a different perspective. Yes, I want to be able to, I joke in the group a lot, like I cannot wait to have the moment where I can text matter of fact, for Valentine's Day, I had posted, I was like, hey babe, the kids are with my parents, the flights are booked, we fly out at 10 o'clock, can't wait to spoil you for the week. That is stuff I'm looking forward to do. But I also understand that there's some people that rush into relationships and they never enjoy being single in themselves. And then when they get in a relationship, they have issues. Now, people who cheat, I don't curse them or feel like they're bad people. But a lot of times, if you look at the people, sometimes if you get to the nitty gritty of them, especially if you deal with females who've cheated, there are onuses in the relationship that are not covered. And sometimes it's not covered when you're single, because think about it. If all of your homegirls text you Valentine's Day weekend, oh my God, I got engaged. Oh my God, I got engaged. Oh my God, I got engaged. And you looking like, yo, all 10 of my homegirls got engaged. When do you get married? Nigga, why you asking that question? I don't know. Like, and it can be a problem. And I even think a lot of guys may not admit it, but even for me, it's become a problem. Because being a PK, my parents are pastors. The last couple of Sundays, my dad has gotten up talking about, I can't wait till I have grandkids.
Where they at?
And the whole church turn around and look at me like, wait a minute, it's 2 of us. Like, I got a sister. Like, look at her. And people don't understand that sometimes we, for sake of meeting the social norm, we will shut down on our wants and needs to make everyone else happy. And then that's how you get stuck in a relationship where you with them for 15, 20 years and you don't even like that sucker.
30 years.
30 years and you just like, I'm done with it.
Oh, I have that talk all the time with my island grandmother, because if you're not married with kids by 24 to 25, it's like, what's wrong with you? Why no man wants you, Tasha? What's going on? What you not doing? You need to cook. You don't know how to cook. What happened?
Yo.
I'm like, lady, no.
I've gotten the whole Alan, are you gay?
Yeah.
Am I giving off signs that I'm gay? Let me check something. Because I told her, I said, if y'all want a grandkid, I can go out right now and get you one. You may not be happy with who I pair up with, but I can get you what you want. but that's not going to work for me. So yeah, it sounds like all of our family is kind of together on that. Yeah, you look in and they're like, yo, so when am I going to see so-and-so? Or yo, when am I going to have this? Or do you know when you're going to get married? You know what, Dad? I honestly don't know. But I think the thing, exactly. I think the thing that has helped me though in the choice is one time me and my dad had an aha moment. I found myself dating individuals based on the approval of my mom. And one day I got with this one chick that was just bat crazy. But mom loved her, but I was going through hell behind doors. And one day we was talking and my dad was like, yo, JR, I don't got to sleep with whoever you get with. You do. Don't worry about what your mom wants you to get because she has me. She comes home to me. She doesn't go home to whatever issue you got to deal with if you get married or if you live with somebody. So that kind of helped me. It was like at the end of the day, I'm the one that has to sleep with that decision. And I would rather make sure that I'm sleeping with the decision that I can sleep with than to be sleeping with someone else's decision for me.
Right. You better teach that good word.
Look, my aha moment was more expensive.
But you know, we often talk about what we want, but I don't think a lot of us talk about what we have to offer. And I think people are not realistic too about what they really legitimately have to offer. That's never seems to be part of the conversation. It's always we're looking for a co-star to be in our movie, but you know, it's not just about us, right? I mean, it's not just about what we want. It's also we giving something to the person that we're going to be with. So my question to the panel, we'll start with the ladies, is do you often think about what you have to offer to a mate?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Natasha, we'll start with you.
Well, my aha moment was much more expensive than Alan's. I am the stereotypical daddy's girl who was abandoned, basically. My father wasn't all the way in my life, but he wasn't all the way out as well. He was right on the fence. But long story short, he was murdered when I was 19, and we were trying to fix our relationship. So it became to a point where I had so many problems with men until a therapist basically told me, you realize you're just dating your father over and over and over again, and you keep trying to fix the relationship because you want him 4-year-old Natasha, but you can't do that. And I didn't get it until someone else said it. And then I went back and was like, whoa, hold on, wait, what? Then I kind of like, you know, let's go back. That was a grocery list. Let's unpack and go back. And then I just started seeing like all these red flags that I just kept missing back and forth. Started realizing on what was it that I needed from this relationship. I was missing all the time. I wasn't focused on me and getting what I needed and what I wanted and what I deserved because I was too busy subconsciously trying to fix this relationship with my father. So that became before everything else. I didn't take that, which is why I've been taking my time now to get to know Natasha. I've been out of a 6-year relationship now for a year and a month. And the thing that I've noticed most of all is that being alone and taking myself to movies, to dinner, basically dating myself, comes a power that no one else can give me. Yep. And sweetheart, I am a powerhouse and I have no problem with it. Like heels and everything, table for one, sweetheart, like not a problem. So I've had to learn what it was I needed and what it was I wanted.
Yeah.
But I agree, you have to take that time. But I especially think that like the first thing I ask usually on a date is about past demons, because I am very much aware of my past demons, and I need to know if you are aware of yours as well, because I think that leads to an interesting conversation. for a first date.
That's a fact.
I appreciate you.
It may be too much for some, but I'm all in. I have a logical mind.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm. That's the way I think.
Let me reiterate the question one more time. The question is, have you ever thought about when you have to offer a someone, like, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily what you're looking for, but what do you
bring to the table?
Right.
I write down my. Go ahead, Tracy.
No, Tasha was talking. She was Tasha, what do you bring to the table?
I like to think. Well, I say that I am unique in that I do know my flaws. I won't. I could, if you gave me the time, I could probably list them. But I am aware of my past demons. So I like to say that awareness is something that I can definitely bring to the table. I think a lot of women, especially my generation at 32, are not aware, and they could care less about that. Mm-hmm. So awareness would be number one. Number two, which I believe tends to be higher up there, would be submission to the right man.
All right, I like that one.
That's a big one.
I do identify myself as an alpha woman, so I do believe that my submission, I don't want to say is higher than a regular woman, but fuck it, it is. Because that it is what it is, because I don't need a man, I want a man. And I need a husband to lead me. That is the way I need a man.
Yes.
Period. So a man that can earn my submission has to be sent by God, because there's no other way around it.
Okay, Shannon, you about to have a Jesus moment?
Man, we about to go to church. The doors of the church are open. Is there one? Is there one?
Amen.
All right, who's next? Because that was good.
Tracy.
Oh, what do I bring to the table? I bring honesty. I am who I am. I'm pretty much with time and open book. If you follow me on any social media, you'll probably know more about me than you probably want to know. And I'm a little older than the rest of y'all. I'll be 55 in April. And so
where are you hiding 55?
Just wise.
30 years of experience, 7 years of singleness, and a restoration by God. So I know I have an awareness of God. I'm woke for the first time in a long time.
Woke. Okay. What about you, Q?
I know what you want me to say, but I'm not going to say it.
Inappropriateness?
I bring humor. Y'all waiting for me to say
my God.
Look, I was like, bring it, girl. I'm sitting, look, I'm like, let me catch my eyebrows before you start.
I bring humor. Like, there's something about being a partner in crime with someone that you can just sit there and talk shit about literally everyone you know and have that, like, camaraderie of, you know, my bullshit and I know your bullshit, and that's cool, you know, and I still love you. And I bring this throat. So it kind of works out.
You bring this who?
Throat.
Girl.
I mean, he sipped some tea right now.
I'm done.
So what else?
So she said she's Bonnie, Tiz, Clyde, and Corinne.
Sexual exploration. No, like, okay, all jokes aside, low-key, sexual exploration is, I don't want to say it is the foundation of a relationship, but for long-term, there has to be something else there. Because if y'all just humping like teenagers, something's got to go. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. No, man, if y'all just humping like rabid teenagers, no, you can take that with you. What I'm looking for is something that's going to grow as we grow, something that's going to explore. Yeah, there might be some tongues and butts, but, who am I to judge?
Whips and chains.
See, I was waiting for it. I knew this was coming down the pipe. Cleaners.
Wait a minute.
I'm a little limited. I need to have a session with you after this podcast.
Look, I'm here for it, Q. I am so here for it.
Let's have a toast to her throat.
Look, y'all. I need something a little stronger than water right now.
So Shannon, other than your ability to make awesome tacos.
Well, Kente, D. Ferguson. You know what? I'm gonna say the answer that most people don't say. I bring an honest reflection of I really don't know how to date to the table. I have dated, but I've been single more of my adult life than I've been with other people. And I also am one of those people who believes heavily in vulnerability and transparency, which is not, hey, Dangelo, which is not our norm. Because people want surface relationships. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people out there authentically pursuing real relationships, but that is not the societal norm. People want to do something right on the surface, not have you in a business. Like Natasha said, not tell you their demons. Whereas I come as Shannon Ford Jefferson. What you see is what you get, down to my flaws, down to my sometime bratty moments about chai tea and tacos. I
love me some chai tea.
But I also am loyal. I blame that on my Sagittarius side, but I think that's a product of just who I was born into in terms of family dynamics. I am loyal to a default, and sometimes, honestly, if I look at my retrospect, to a detriment, and I have learned to work through that because I had daddy issues. My father was an addict and alcoholic and made bad decisions, and then he had cancer, and then he died, and I buried him the same day I graduated from high school. So learning to love a man who has more flaws than the world and still love him in spite of those things, because that to me is, he had nothing to offer me, but I loved him anyway. Right. And then carrying that into relationships with other people. Sometimes we see people's potential instead of who they really are. And that might be my detriment because that's how I was in a relationship with my father. So what I bring to the table is authenticity of self, loyalty, an understanding of love, not just for other people, but first and foremost for God and for myself. Because I can't love you right if I don't love me right.
Right.
You know what, Shannon? I love what you just said right there, except for the sometime bratty part.
But I own it.
A little more than sometime.
But I own it, and I'm gonna need you to cut that out because you also said I was lying about my whole year. We'll get back to that later.
Wait a minute. Saying that out of context sounds funny.
So, I like to jerk a podcast verse. Yes, sometimes bratty, but you know me on a podcast relationship, and you sometimes get on my nerves. So you get what you get. But we're not in a dating relationship. But I am very aware of who I am as a person, and I have no problem sharing that. I also have no problem receiving feedback because I know, and I don't know who said it, we are an evolving people, or we should be. And I don't like to be stagnant. So I want to grow in myself and in my relationships. And I cook. I mean, I do make a mean taco.
Oh, can you introduce our new panelist?
Yes, Dangelo, thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking some time out of your Tuesday to talk about what men and women want. If you could just tell us who you are, and then you can jump into this conversation.
Well, thank you, Shannon, for opening this dialogue for people to communicate. I think that is a lost art in our community these days. You just walk into restaurants, venues, and you see everybody holding their phones. No one is communicating, and if they are, it's very sparingly. So, this is definitely something I was interested in. However, I'm also on the board of another organization here locally where we are hosting a mixer tonight. So forgive me for being tardy. All that to say, I'm Dangelo Webb. I currently reside in Florida. Actually in the northwest part of Florida. So I really don't call it Florida. I'm kind of like in the country, so to speak. I'm just here to engage in dialogue. I'm here to offer my input. I am not sure what everybody else said for their dialogue or their bios, but I'm currently a business owner, also working sales, and I do a lot of different things, but just here to, again, offer my input and to hopefully open my mind and or the others to new ideas and way of thinking.
And ladies, he loves his mama.
That I do. Yeah. She makes sure that it's known. But you only get one, and I noticed you mentioned about your dad passing. Unfortunately, I was in a situation where I didn't really have my dad growing up. So for me, it was always something that I wanted to do when I became old enough to do for my mom. At the age of 15, I became independent, and I haven't stopped working since. But I do whatever I can, pay her bills when I can. I mean, all that just because that's mom. I only get one, and I love her to death. So it's a life. I love it a life.
That's what's up.
Kudos.
We love it. And I love how this panel is California and Florida. I do love the dominant Floridans right now, but hello. Okay, Kente, so are y'all going to answer the same question that you just asked the women? What do you bring to the table? Because, I mean...
Okay. Can you bring this too?
Sure. We can start off with Brother Alan.
Alan, twirl that pen.
Dang, I thought I was going to get the last shot at it.
No, the host will get it. Kente will get it.
Okay. So what do I bring to the table? First of all, self-aware. I'm definitely aware of the flaws that I have that can incorporate in any interaction I have with a female. So when I bring to the table self-awareness about my flaws and what issues I have, I'm an open book, but I'm also very, what's the word? I hate to say quick to apologize, but I'm quick to understand what the other person is saying to reach a resolution. So I'm not one of those, once I've said it or once it's been said, it's my way or the highway. So I'm real open at creating dialogue to see exactly where she's coming from compared to where I'm coming from. So I would say loyal, honest, self-aware, and, kind of handsome, but that you don't look at the physical aspect, but I would say those are the key aspects that I bring to the table, to be honest. Loyal to a fault, honest to a fault, definitely honest to a fault, but I would say I bring that to the table. I would definitely say those are the things I bring to the table.
Okay.
Had to make it short, sorry.
Steph says calling women females is a flaw, in her opinion.
Well, I apologize for calling you a female.
What?
Ladies, women.
It's because female comes from calling women animals and shit, because female is supposed to, it goes directly to sex rather than calling, like the female version of a human is a woman or a lady or a girl.
Yeah.
There are some unstable.
I got y'all. I apologize if I offended anybody by saying females. For the rest of the night, I'll say women. I'll say girls.
No offense in here, because I call them broads. So.
Oh, I call them hoes.
Yeah.
I will call you.
I mean,
I will call you a
no.
hoe, or I kid you not, I will call you a bitch in a minute if I don't know your name, and you will have be like, I'm sorry, I called you bitch because I don't know your name. So will you tell me your name, and then I get your name? Okay, I'm sorry, and I got you. Like,
and you honestly don't even got to be mad to call
and you
someone
know
a bitch.
what,
You should
Natasha,
catch
I
them in your
appreciate your honesty. I can't even get mad at that. I appreciate that.
I call myself a bitch sometimes too. So like it honestly does not. It doesn't bother me. I understand it bothers some people, so I will apologize for it because I don't mean any harm. But like, I'm not trying to mean any disrespect. But like, I still like a term of endearment for me is heifer. I call people heifer all the time.
Yes, honey boo child. Listen.
I call people heifer all the time at work. I call my mother heifer. Shit.
Mother heifer?
Sure do. Well, that's a little intense. Gloria might smack me in my mouth. So.
Yeah, that's not even an option. I wouldn't even consider that.
My mother would take me down. I'd be like,
I kind of want to live a little longer, so yeah, I definitely
She's like, I just call her that, not to her face.
I don't even do it. She got some kind of special power. She be done showed on her and be like, what is God gonna do? Okay, so Alan, you told us. D'Angelo, did you already say? Is it Kente's turn or D'Angelo's your turn?
D'Angelo.
Okay. Sir, hit it. What do you offer?
So we're just generally speaking, right? Or just
No. What do you offer? That should be nothing general about it. That should be very specific.
All right, cool. So it was just a question. All right. So listen. So D'Angelo, I offer myself being a man of foundation and principle. I feel like stability is very important in a man. A lot of men are unstable. I am very stable in my mindset, very stable in knowing who I am, very stable in my relationship with God, very stable in my financial background, very stable in knowing where I'm going in the future. Whereas my characteristics, I mean, I smile and I have to giggle all day, so I'm very I hate to be the cliche of a Virgo, but I'm how to put this? I'm very transparent. And so if I'm not feeling the moment, you're going to know it. And so in my transparency, I feel like that is very important for me as a man, which a lot of people present all these representatives. You're not going to get that. I'm just going to tell you what it is, and you may like it, you may not like it. As I've grown to develop a better way of delivery in my transparency. And I think that has been the biggest point that has helped me to, not hurt people's feelings or, understand that empathy is, important in our society, because everybody's feelings and everybody's background and everybody's beliefs and how they grew up and all that is all different, right? So, so you have to put all that into consideration and perspective. So for me, yeah, I think I'm just, a genuine guy. I think that I'm a fun guy. Spontaneous is on the top of the list. And yeah, that's me. That's what I bring.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
And I'm an excellent cook as well.
He over there got the cooking going over there. Them sisters about to be rolling over there like, yo.
Look,
get his digits real quick.
Right. We'll go ahead and pass out that information at the end of the show if anybody is interested.
Hilarious. No, those are great stuff. I mean, I'm an excellent chef myself, but out here in Los Angeles, you better or you will not eat. But there's some clicking sound going on in the back. Some clicking? Okay. But I think okay. Hello? Somebody's clicking.
That's you.
Thanks, is me.
No, I'm gonna go back on mute.
Oh, it was Natasha. There it was. It was Natasha. All right, so yep, that was you.
It was not me.
Yeah, you lucky.
Girl, what you doing over there?
Bed.
You shopping on Target?
No. I'm sitting here. I have not moved.
All right, there we go. All right. It's like somebody's trolling. No. I think what everything that everybody said was good. Myself, very impact. Yeah, that's Natasha. You hit mute for a second. There we go. Wait. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. So, someone who believes in providing a strong home situation, someone who is very loyal, very empathic, and someone who is, I feel like, is willing to evolve. Because, I think somebody said it earlier, the way that you were at 24, you're not at 34, and to realize some of your shortcomings and actually really do some self-evaluation and work on is very key. And that's something I try to be. And I think we're always going to be evolving until we eventually leave this planet. So that's what I try to do. And I think that that's something that some of us are not willing to do. And, because very rarely when you hear somebody's relationship falling apart, you very rarely hear somebody say that it was their fault. It's usually always somebody else's fault. So, I think we go back to Alan. Alan said that when his relationships are over, he does an autopsy of the situation and tries to see what he did wrong, which I think is, man, I love to hear that because that's so important, because that person is gone, right? So it doesn't really, in some ways, it doesn't really matter what they did. The only thing you can focus on is what you did, right, in the situation, and what can you do differently. So I'm going to ask another question to my co-host, Shannon. What have you learned from previous relationships that can get you more of what you want in your next relationship? And have you done that self-evaluation after, your last relationships?
I think one thing that I've learned, and I learned it earlier on, so in my early 20s, is that I need to trust my instincts. Like I said, I have daddy dysfunction. And so for a while, I was attracting men who were like my father, not necessarily addicts, but the emotionally unavailable. And for me, it was just taking stock in who I attract versus what I'm attracted to, because I am not attracted to emotionally unavailable men. I am attracting them, however, which is two totally different things. So kind of how I engage, I took stock in that. And I think for me, my biggest thing is probably I'm an overthinker.
Can I ask a quick question about something you just said? Do people who are emotionally unavailable, do most of them know that they're emotionally unavailable?
No.
I've actually had two of them tell me. One of them said, and I quote, "I have never shown emotion. So if you expect me to do that, you might need to find somebody else."
Wow.
She was
appreciate that honesty.
I did, but it made me sad for him because on the foundation of who he is as a person, he wants someone in his life. I was like, I don't know too many women who want to be bothered with somebody who shows no emotion at all, or who is afraid to be vulnerable. I said, so good luck, brother. Like, bless you. And then I had another guy who said it's hard for him to be vulnerable. And so the honesty of those two individuals, I appreciate, because most people will not tell you that, especially at least as a woman receiving information from a man. I don't normally get that.
It is hard. It is hard because it can be used right back in. it can be used right back in your face, you know?
Absolutely. But I think because of how I grew up, because I didn't necessarily grow up with my father in my home most of my life. And when he was engaging in bad behavior or unhealthy decisions of his own lifestyle. And so seeing him deal with his own demons and be not available emotionally, unless he was sober, was very, as a child, you're innocent. So you kind of tolerate and accept, but you also call people out. So I saw a lot and I dealt with a lot, but I loved him regardless. But I do think that men get that stigma of not being able to commit to that vulnerability, to being emotional, because it's like a sign of weakness. But I'm here for it. Men across the world, be emotionally available to the woman that you want to settle down with, get to know better, because I mean, every relationship you engage is a risk. You have to be willing to take that risk. And if you're dating with intentions to spend your life with somebody, you're going to eventually at some point have to be vulnerable.
Somebody in the chat says, I think the text is very small. I think if a woman were to tell me I'm afraid to be vulnerable, I'd be able to understand that comment than hearing I have never shown emotion. That's from Tony Davis.
Okay. Hey, Tony. And I'm going to knock you out talking about Shannon was dating Michael Myers. Go take a nap, Kente. And Steph said, great, a man that could do more than boil hot dogs. Please don't boil hot dogs for me. A novelty and a unicorn. Yes, Steph, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, it's hard out here in these single streets. Trying to find somebody who is emotionally available. But Kente, you were saying, yes, it is hard. You want to elaborate on that? Do you struggle with being emotionally available in relationships?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, it's not very easy. It's like I think you have to get to a certain point where you feel comfortable, and you know, it's hard to gauge, you know, when that'll happen, and it's something I don't think you can force. So,
of course,
you know, so especially if you've had it used against you in the past, it really makes you very skittish. And the funny thing is, like, you don't want to admit, like, especially as a man, you don't want to admit that, you know, you had that kind of stuff happen, and it makes you feel a certain kind of way because, you know, we're always trying to keep that facade up of, you know, being rocks. But sometimes, you know, even the strongest cat, you know, can go through some stuff, right? So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But but I guess the right woman will make you feel like you can.
I think that vulnerability from a man is something that really we shy away from, but I think that transparency will minimize the vulnerability, if that makes sense. So if you just kind of go ahead and just be straight up about what it is that's going on, or, you know, look, I've experienced this, or, you know, I mean, of course you want to ease people into things and you don't want to just put all the cards on the table for day one, you know, but I think the more you're transparent about who you are, those vulnerability moments kind of are minimized.
I have a question for the ladies. Have you ever dated a guy, I'm sure the answer is going to be yes, who lied to you about stuff that you were just shocked? Why did you lie about that? Like some real minor type stuff, but he lied to you.
I have stories. So I dated this guy, and he told me he was part Hawaiian, and I believed him because I was like, cool. Like, who am I to say what you are? I don't know. What the fuck ever. So this dude's telling me he's part. Me and his mama hang out, and his mom just goes, no. The way she put it, she goes, no, I'm just Mexican, and his dad's just white. And I'm like, Like your whole family. Like, oh, I was so mad. I was like, oh, I was so mad.
Why he lied?
I'm like, why? Like, that literally made no stock in my attraction to you.
Right.
There was no reason for that to be a weird thing. Like, it was terrible. And then it was great because then he broke up with me with his new girlfriend, and they said they decided to break up with me together. And I was like, holy shit, the three of us in a relationship?
I've been there, done that.
He's still
yeah, honey, you should have took both of them to court for damages.
Yeah, so I was just like, it's 2 against 1. I guess we are breaking up then. Damn. But then it was funny because then he cheated on her too after they got tattoos together. And I'm like, bitch, how did you not see that coming? You helped him cheat on me.
Maybe he was like a Rachel Dolezal. He's a trans Hawaiian.
I was like,
you stupid for that, Kente.
Like, it's the most preposterous thing ever. Preposterous. No reason.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do it.
I'm trying to think of the other ridiculousness I got. This guy tried to hit on me and said that he invented Google and he was like 29 and couldn't speak English. And I was like, is this the lie we're living right now? This is happening. This is happening. And so for the whole night, I let him buy me drinks and tell me that he invented Google. I was like, yes, tell me more. Tell me more.
No.
Hey, I invented AOL, so.
You buying me drinks, you could have invented the world, my guy.
Look.
That's wild. That's wild.
No.
I'm like, who out here is believing this shit, dude? Who?
Somebody, girl.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. I find when I think someone's lying, I don't always just say they're lying because all they're gonna do is act like they're offended that you don't believe them. So sometimes I just let people go and get a crack out of their stupidity.
See, and especially how far they'll take it to prove to you that like that's the thing. So they'll like call people. Oh, I'm calling Bill Gates right now. What? No, you're not.
He calling somebody named Bill Gates. He calling the Bill Gates.
I just let it fly because really, if I'm not dating, because I haven't dated a lot, but if I'm not that interested in you, whether you're telling a lie or telling the truth is not relevant to me. So you can talk all you want to, because I don't plan on seeing you past this moment anyway. So say whatever you need to say. I just haven't met the one that I just really, really been interested in or just really going with. But something Kente asked Shannon.
So Tracy, let me ask you that.
Wait, hold on 1 second, Dangelo. She had a quick question.
Yeah, she had a question.
Just commenting on what you asked Shannon earlier. What was something she learned from a previous relationship, and has she taken time to deal with that issue? And I just wanted to interject there that one of the things I learned from a previous relationship is to thine own self be true, because sometimes we get lost in the other person and we forget who we are. And so that's one of the things I learned in my previous marriage is that to thine own self be true, because when the divorce happened, I was so caught up in his world, I didn't even realize what my world was. So that was one of the things I learned. And I have taken quite a bit of time just to clean myself out and get myself where I'm ready for the next person that comes into my life.
I can vouch for that. She has.
All right.
Now, what were you saying, Dangelo?
No, I was just gonna ask the question, and I agree with you. You definitely should be true to yourself, because men we know when you are trying to do things to appease us or to really, that's not who you are. You know, you're trying to be somebody or be what you think, we want. And I think that's something that we as men need to, and women as well, don't do so much of early on. Like, this is what I desire. I'm telling you everything. I'm putting all the cards on the table. Now So you're going to be, I've had situations where women like, oh, yeah, I cook. Oh, because that's what I desire for my wife. Oh, yeah, I cook, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Send me pictures of food. 3 weeks later, like, you ain't cooked nothing in 3 weeks. Okay. And now it's 2 months later, okay, like, hey, and I'm very observant, very observant. So it's like, so when you haven't cooked in a while, what happened? Yeah, I just been tired up and doing it. Like, okay, so you just was doing that because that's what you thought or wanted me to believe that you were a cook, but that's not really who you are. But going back to what you were saying, you said that you'll meet someone and you'll have a conversation and you'll know that you're not interested. Is that just based off of the dialogue within the conversation, or just kind of just the first impression of who they are?
It's based on the dialogue. It's based off the chemistry.
Spirit of discernment.
Yeah, the discernment. One of the things, rule of thumb I have is I will allow. I'm attracted to you by what I see, but then I'm entertained by what you say or intrigued by what you say. So it's all encompassing. I don't just write you off, but I pretty much know after the first date if it's going to be a second date or
not. Okay, so it's a date. Okay, I got the impression that you were saying just off an initial conversation.
And sometimes it is, because here in Florida, if I'm walking through the mall and they say, "Hey, Red, hey, Ma," we don't have no conversation. Ain't no need you even stopping me to talk. So
Amen.
It's not gonna happen. Now if they come up and they say, "How you doing?" Whatever, we might talk for a minute, but if you addressing me like that, no, we're not gonna talk.
No. What if he has all the check marks that you require and that you are looking for and that you've been praying for and desiring, and he got all that. He just presented himself in the wrong way initially.
Because he don't have all the check marks. If he's coming to me in that way, he don't have all the check marks, because anybody that's going to come to me, the way I carry myself, and if you know anything about me, and that's one thing I can say about me, is I command respect. I do. I mean, I'm old enough to do that. So if you're coming at me disrespectful off the bat, that means you're not even on my level at all. Okay. I mean, hollering at me saying "Ma" or "Red," and I'm walking through the mall. My daughter's 28 years old. That my daughter does that. Don't approach me like that. So that's an automatic turn off to me. Now, if you coming to me and you may say, "You know what? Hey, how you doing, young lady?" Or we standing there talking, "How you doing? What's your name?" "Well, I saw you was walking through the mall, Red," or something like that. That's different. But you hollering at me,
Oh, Tracy like that, Red. You like Red.
Hey, Red. Hey, Red.
I even had one guy tell me, I was in the store and he was like, "You're a very attractive young lady." And I said, we were dialoguing, talking about something. And he said, "Well, I just want you to know," we were talking about weight. And then he said, "Well, I want you to know, I prefer biscuits over pancakes." I wasn't offended by that, because I'm a thick girl. I wasn't offended by that. But if I'm walking and you're like, hey, boo, a big girl, no, that's just me.
I like pancakes. So Natasha, has a guy ever blown it with you in the initial meeting, but after you got to know him a little while, you said, "I'm gonna give this brother a chance"?
You thinking, Tasha?
Okay.
You study long. You study wrong, Tasha.
Thank you, Tasha.
By blown it, let's define this. Are we talking like on terms as Tracy as disrespect, or are we just talking something like a misunderstanding?
Your check boxes, right?
Like
anything that you require.
Maybe he came a little funky. I mean, not funky, but like you didn't like his approach, maybe, or maybe he did something that kind of turned you off, or something.
Okay.
Then you got to know him. You're like, you know what? He's pretty cool.
No. I usually get rid of their asses. I'm gonna tell you. This just happened to me 2 days ago. No lie. Okay. So I'm in a it's like single, black, and childless or something over 30. Okay. Oh, wow. And that's
our group. Why does that sound like our group?
this guy wrote me like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I responded. Not much, blah, blah, blah. He saw my response on a topic, blah, blah, blah. So we started talking. So the first red flag was that he saw my profile and deemed me desirable. What? So I was like, stop, we're going to give him a chance. So I asked, what exactly deemed me desirable to you? Like, if you know me, I got a ton of shit on my profile. Like, I will put a ton of shit and you will think this bitch is either confused, depressed, on some drugs, or she about to go shoot up something. Like, there's a plethora of stuff that I have, but that's just how I am. I have a ton of stuff. So I was like, I'm going to give him a chance, okay? Because I'm quirky. I'm all over the place. This man actually said, you look physically inviting. I said, no, bitch. No.
Pardon?
No. Right. No. I said, so in other words, coming in my inbox, a stranger, to tell me that I look fun to fuck. That's what you're telling me? No, that's not what I said. That's what you meant. So you might as well have just said it.
That's so true. How should we be responding to this shit? Because I know how to respond to dick pics now. I need to know how to respond to this nonsense of fuck boyatry. Very simple. Very simple. Oh, this is what I told him. I told him, just in case he did not see and he didn't make it this far down the profile, the nipples are pierced just like the I'm very fun to fuck, and which is why every man I've ever had keeps coming back to me, and you will never know that. Told him to have a good weekend, God bless him, and goodbye. And he was blocked.
Yeah, I don't care. Those are one of those thoughts you want to keep to yourself.
I don't care. They don't bother me. They don't bother me. But I was just like, first of all, the post that we were talking about originally had nothing to do with that. So he went all the way left. It wasn't like it was a raunchy post or something, and then it continued in the inbox. It had nothing to do with that. The post was about investing stocks and extra money.
Oh my God.
So, Natasha, I mean,
that sounds like a sexy.
Probably know this.
How is that sexy?
So
the thing that
everything.
Wait, say that again. I can't hear you.
You probably know this already, but men will try you, and you just have a certain group of brothers that's gonna try you, and that's just who they are. I mean, most times when you're in groups and engage in dialogue on social media and these other places and platforms, even in person, some will too, but most times they get, they get big balls. They feel like they can do and say anything, and because guess what, they don't know you, and all you can say is no. So you just have to ignore it and keep it moving. I wouldn't even put too much. Too much.
But see, this is my thing. This is my thing. I'm not that. But see, this is my thing. I'm not that type of woman. Okay. See, when I was in college, I had my days. Okay. I had male cousins. I had football teams of men because I was single and I did what I want. Every year I had a new string. This is what I did. So I'm much more comfortable with you coming up to me and telling me you just want a physical relationship with you. I would respect you a lot more if you told me that to my face.
That part, it's like, that's the part that I feel like a lot of these dumbass men, or not men, but boys don't understand. Women are not prudish to like casual sex. We just don't want to fuck you if you're a fucking bag of dicks. Like, be cool.
Right.
And then, if you want to fuck every Thursday and Wednesday night, let's do this. But if you're coming to me speaking all crazy and shit, what makes you think anything's going to get frothy for you? Really? My guy.
I'm saying, let me know. You can get in on the schedule. I can pencil you in, bro. Or nah, it's that simple. Like I said,
like we
that
expect
was
an appointment.
in my young no, but I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Hey, no, Natasha said football team.
Got intense real quick.
Natasha said football teams.
Oh, I sure did. I had a first and second string. Some of them knew each other. They didn't like it, but oh well.
And when's that book coming out?
And listen,
Alan, you've been crying for a while. Let's get you back.
Yo, I'm just taking it all in.
Hey, we need a hot take from Alan real quick. All right, man.
Hot take, sir.
Okay, wait, what? What happened? I'm sorry. I was coming back.
I know, right? I know.
That was intense. Like it got beyond frothy up in here.
Natasha, cool.
Frothy loins. It's
nothing but love for Natasha, though. Nothing but love for Natasha.
I shouldn't have made that post.
Savage. What can I say? I
shouldn't have made that post.
I'm here for it. Savage.
Right. So, Mr. Hot Take, give us a hot take on what does Mr. Hot Take want
from in a relationship?
What are you looking for? Are you looking for a relationship for real, or are you looking to ride out your 30s?
Heck nah, I'm not riding out my 30s. Single for one. Honestly, real talk though, all jokes aside, my goal ultimately, I definitely want to be married. I'm definitely looking for a relationship. Not looking to just wet my dick or whatever.
Real, single, relationship.
Hey, because there's levels I'm starting to learn to single. Because you may ask somebody, are you single? You may ask somebody if they're single, and you find out they have a little planner. I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Do you want to be Saturday or Sunday? You better take a number.
Don't judge me. Don't do that.
I wasn't coming for you, Natasha. But in all seriousness, no. I'm actually looking for a relationship where I can actually build on, where I can meet someone that I can mesh and grow a legacy together, to raise a family together. To lead and guide a wife and kids to be productive members of society. Just wanting to be able to have that growth. I'm not gonna lie, I get in my feelings when I see people with their kids, and like at our job, you can bring your kids to work day, and I know that's coming up. So I kind of actually want to be able to experience the joy of raising kids and being in a relationship. Not saying that all relationships are perfect, but being able to have experienced the ups and downs and the ins and outs of a relationship and growing as a unit. So truthfully, yeah, 30, I refuse to go into 40 single. That ain't about to happen.
You don't be the old guy. Alan, you don't want to be the old guy in the club.
I'm not even a club person, so I just be the old guy at home, But yeah, I'm not trying to be the old guy at the club in the corner with his little drink, trying to eye the little shorties. I'm like, hey girl, come here. Yeah, nah, I ain't trying to be that one. Hey Red, let me holler at you for a minute.
Stop.
Clearly, Traci, he trying to get frothy with you, girl.
Dangelo, man, what you looking for, man?
Bro, I just want happiness, man. I've been playing this game for a while now. I'm about to be 35 years old this year, and happiness is everything. And yeah, I want a family and kids. And my pastor told me I like the idea of marriage. I don't really want marriage for real, because I like my freedom. So I really want happiness. I like to move when I'm ready to move. I don't really like answering to people. Now I am one who compromises, and I've learned to do that a little bit more as I've gotten older, and I know that that's necessary for a relationship. But that's what I really want, man. Happiness. I do want a child, so if anybody, makes a parent. No,
So, Dangelo, are you saying that you don't want a committed relationship? since you said you don't want marriage, you don't want to be
No,
anybody.
I didn't say that I don't want marriage. I said I think that I like the idea of marriage because I know what it symbolizes. I know that it is necessary for, young, kids and family members to know and see how a man should treat a woman, how a father should be in the home, how, that's why I don't have kids, because my dad was the one that was a rolling stone. I have 8, 9 brothers and sisters, and, we all got 5, 6 different baby mamas, you know what I mean? So I never wanted to be that guy. I never wanted to fall into that category personally. So, I've always, taken the proper precautions or whatever necessary to not be there. But yes, I'm really ready. I got that. They call it baby fever. Yeah. I got it.
Bruh.
And that's just me being transparent, right? It's just me being transparent, and I have no problem with that. But at the same time, that don't mean I'm just gonna, be reckless and do something. I mean, I have too much to offer and too much to gain in this, in my next life, and so for me to just go do something stupid.
That's what's up. Love it. Yeah. Yes. We're gonna do a show coming up soon on dating and the dating game and all of that good stuff. Because one thing that it's a recurring theme from this show and just conversations and shit, my own life, is the dating game is a weird beast, and a lot of people, man, yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, I think it's changed a lot too in the last like 5 years, let alone the last 10 years, So it's very interesting, especially if you were somebody who was like in a marriage such as Traci for a long time, and then now you single. A lot of people I know like that was like, in all the 2000s they were in a relationship, and now they're single. Yeah, they like, oh man, what the hell is this? It ain't like it was.
I admit, I go to my children for dating advice. I admit, I'm lost. This social media and I'm lost. I'm so lost.
I remember a guy who I know who was he said, man, the last date I went on before I got married, we went to see The Matrix. Like, now, man, he said it's crazy now out there in these streets. So definitely,
it's weird for men though, because most men find somebody immediately. Most men that come out of a divorce find someone immediately. It's women that have a hard time adjusting to the change.
Yeah.
At least I found.
I think it is more for. I think it is a little harder for women, but dudes are catching hell too out there too, man.
Yo, Traci, y'all older ladies, y'all prowling like for real. Y'all jumping out of them marriages, and y'all looking at us like, yo, come be my meal for a couple of days. I'm like, whoa, yo.
That's not necessarily true, because I have more. I won't date beneath my age. I just won't do it because it seems so immature. But there are more younger men hollering at me than the older men. I'm wild. 30, and I have more of the younger crowd trying to talk to me than men my age. And
do you know why?
What?
Do you know
why? Have you asked them why, Traci?
No. I think it's because, first of all, the stability. Older women are stability. And that millennials, they have a sense of entitlement. So they feel like everybody owes them something. Some of them want to be taken care of. I'm financially stable. My credit score is good. I live in my own place, drive my own car. And a lot of times that's an attraction. So
I got my own house. I got my own car.
And it's funny. You know what? It's funny that Traci says that, because I've gotten hit on by 4 older women that are in their 40s. And their reason has been, in late 40s. Yeah. And their reason you have your own car, you have your own place, Alan. You don't have any kids. You don't have any ridiculous debt. That's why I'm trying to talk to you. And then my rebuttal was like,
they don't know that off the top, though. You know what I mean? Like most people don't know that off top.
They find it out from talking to you.
Yeah.
And the kid thing too. I don't have any kids at home. My grandkids I get when I want. So I'm finding that a lot of men don't want women that have children attached to them. You know, so
and you don't have the you don't have the Cinderella thing going where you're waiting for Prince Charming to pull you out of poverty on a white horse or something like that. So, and sometimes when that's what guys will run into a lot with younger women. So, like when I was in my 20s, I dated a lot of older women as well, and that was part of the reason for it. And then you're broker generally when you're younger.
True. That's true. That's true.
You know, so
I'll offer this.
The ramen is real.
So I feel like I've had the best relationships in the past with older women, simply because most times older women know exactly what they want, what they don't like, and they are not afraid to tell you, and they're going to be who they are, and they're basically in a position where they don't have time to play games, so they're not trying to make you wife them up and force you into things at certain times, but they feel like I'm comfortable in who I am, and I accept, for that, and it is what it is. And they're gonna be honest with you, and that's why a lot of younger men appreciate and or go after older women for that very reason.
But then it also goes back to what Kente asked earlier. What are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a dating younger man, you're gonna have to bring to the table what I'm gonna bring to the table as well. Just like I'm giving you what you want, you have to give me what I want, and a lot of times that's not for me. It's not a good match for me. So I've been by myself, and I'm okay with that. Trust me, I'm okay. I want to get married again one day, but I'm okay with being by myself. I travel. I do a lot of work, 2 jobs, and I'm good. I work from home. So I'm good. I spend a lot of time by myself. So I'm not pressed to try to find nobody.
Don't be pressed, girl.
Can I ask this question to the panel? Has anyone ever had a fear of dying alone or being that person who's, in the 60s, 70s, haven't found somebody, and does anyone have that fear?
I told Shannon.
Yeah, I do.
You told me what, Tracy?
I told you I don't want to grow old by myself.
You did.
But I told you what else I tell you. I said I don't want a boo thing. I don't want a boyfriend. I want a husband.
Absolutely.
I want to grow old by myself, but I don't want to be whining.
I'm not gonna die alone. I got tacos.
Stop it.
In different area codes. No, I've actually never thought of or ever had a fear of dying alone. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case for me. We'll see.
And shout out to the Get Vocal chat room. Tony, Sandra, or better known as Ebony Empress, and Cedric has just come in. I've seen Sybil was in there and Cam as well. And then we also have So Steph. We also have Imani, and there's like a bunch of other people, and they have been they're being shy. And on Periscope, we got a bunch of people that's been at Noogie Bear. I love that name. 83, my name, 1984, Marat, I can't even say it. I'm not going to attempt. Skill 6, Freshwater 21, McCarls, and Naldi as well. And LA Wade was in the Periscope as well. So,
hey, beautiful people, we got a busy bunch of groups.
Yeah, big shout out to all those folks. And like I said, there's a bunch of people who are being shy today. But it's been a great conversation. I really enjoy it. You guys have so much great insight into this topic, and and hopefully you guys will come back on to share some more. I love this. So you said your group is Christian
Oh,
there's two different groups. There's two different groups.
Yeah.
One is black
Christian singles with no kids,
and one is single black singles with 30 plus with no kids.
Oh, okay. So
I think I was in that group and then I left it because I felt like it was too dead. So
okay,
you thought it was what?
Groups is no
that group was too dead. So I think I left that group a couple months ago.
I think they cycle. I think the same people are in both of those groups.
Yeah.
They cycle in and out of those two groups. I feel like I'd be reading the same thing all day long. Like you already asked that question in the other group. Stop it. Same people exist in the same group.
They're trying to get a different answer.
Yeah.
But if they just look at the members, most of them are the same.
Pretty much, huh? I mean, if it's a similar topic, it's generally going to be the same folks.
Yeah.
But
so that's how I got. And I think Natasha and Dangelo were in a conversation on a post. And I was saying, this is the type of conversation I want to have on a podcast. If anyone's interested, let me know. And both of them said they were interested. So I added them as friends. And then that's how they got here.
Yeah. Gotta love
sure
them.
did.
Yes.
And I'm so excited.
So before we get on out of here, host, any last topic you want to get while we have the panel?
I'm gonna ask this one question, and you can only give one answer. Don't give a list, just one. What do you want when it's all boiled down to it? What is above all else? What do you want from a relationship? What is your one word? And Alan, we'll start with you.
What is one thing word that togetherness.
Okay. I can dig it. Dangelo?
I think I gave mine earlier, and it's happiness.
Okay. We're going to have a talk about that, Dangelo. About happiness, because I had this same conversation with Traci about happiness. But we'll say that for another conversation. And you know what I'm talking about, Traci. You know where that's about to go.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. Tasha, your one word?
Reciprocity.
All right, honey.
Reciprocity.
Lauryn Hill song stuck in my head now. Q.
Don't ask me to spell.
I don't even know. I feel like whatever I say at this point, it's just going to be cliche as balls.
What?
Is that not a typical cliche? Oh my god, my idiom.
Not everybody's balls are cliche.
Love? I don't know.
Come on.
I know, right? It's exhausting. And I'm the only one that was like, I'm a writer, everyone. I know the words. And you're like, tell me one word. And I'm like, I don't know any words.
Use your word. Come on, girl.
For some reason, I keep going back to honesty, but I'm like, really, bitch? That's what you want?
Yeah.
Hey, that's hard for people.
It's real though.
I want someone to keep telling me my ass is fat when I know it's not. So I don't really think honesty is up there.
Yeah. You want honesty.
You can't make them Fashion Nova jeans.
Look, and you long-winded. I'm skipping right on down the road. Traci,
please do it. Do it. I'll come back.
I had honesty.
Okay. What about you, Kente B. Ferguson?
Real quick, Tony says sincerity, and Ebony Empress says integrity. I say peace. I love peace. There's nothing like when you are with somebody and
yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
I was like the doors of the church.
I'm not our homeboy Aaron, who likes the cars getting keyed and all that madness.
Oh,
you cut out Aaron. Big shout out to Aaron, but I like peace.
Yeah, no, I'm good on that. My one thing that I want in a relationship is
I'll go after you.
You already went.
Oh, I don't get to go again? Oh, because I finally figured out a word. I know a word.
Okay, go ahead. What's your word, Q? I'm gonna give you one more chance. What's your word, girl?
My word is, it's not in English, so bear with me. It's desahogo. And it's the feeling you get when you exhale, that like peacefulness, that calm, that tranquility. So I guess that would probably be the closest.
Okay.
Just tranquility. Because I got the rest. Just
Did you pull out your dictionary for that?
Her long-winded butt.
You would have thought.
Girl.
The one thing that I'm looking for in a relationship would probably be authenticity.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Definitely.
Amen.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I mean, we can have praise and worship right on after this. Okay.
Hey, I got the Bible right here. Right here.
And Traci play a mean tambourine. Don't sleep on it.
I do.
Tambourine.
We can't let Q preach though, because she gonna put in that.
Tambourine.
I'm pretty sure everyone would be like, you know what, you're really onto something.
I was like, she can preach, but she might have to censor her. She might need to preach at the naked church, Kente, because she
the naked.
I mean, I don't know about the naked church. Just don't bring your kids, because they don't need to know about tongue punching fart boxes. That's not for their ears.
Oh wow!
Tossing salads.
Pastor Q, I'll be at your church.
I won't. I will donate to your children's ministry though, because they gonna need a lot of therapy.
Ministry.
They gonna need a lot of
I'm saying is knowing how to please your partner is a vital part in communication, because most of communication is body language.
I agree.
That's right.
That's body language, all right.
No, Q, we not arguing that. We not arguing. That's a whole nother minute. We here for it. Okay, so lovely. So we're gonna go down the panel. We'll start with women, as we always do. Start with you, Tasha. How can we get you on social media?
Oh, you can follow me. Oh Lord.
Let me write this one down.
Nutball, Alan. Nutball.
Trying to get on your football.
You can find me. No, I'm just kidding. You can find me on Instagram at Regal Empress Energy 87.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and all up in it. And then you can find me, of course, Natasha Samuel, with my default picture on Facebook. Red lipstick, because I'm pow, I'm in your face.
All right, pow in your face.
Yes.
Natasha, you about to get that friend request right now.
Oh my God, Lord.
Look, we making love connections in 2019 on men.
Don't be commenting on my bikini picture, okay? I don't heard about
that. Be real. The thirst will be real.
Okay, you just basically said to comment on it.
Right, that's pretty much what you said.
I know he's gonna find it.
Where can we follow you at? How can we get a hold of you on social media? Q.
Y'all can find me on Facebook at Q Vergara. That's QVERGARA, and on Snapchat, which I never remember my tag. So give me a second. It's Cookie Mama, but not spelled like you think, because I'm difficult. QUQIMAMA.
QU.
See, that's why we bonded over cookies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it. I'm about to have a Cookie
Mama. It's like a Cookie Monster, but a lot more throaty.
That's coffee. We can move on down the road. Traci, how can we get you on social media? Follow you on social media.
You can find me at Traci J Caver on Facebook. Traci J 54 on Instagram, as well as Also Smooth Radio every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Living Beneath the Shadow at WordPress.com for my blog, and Living Beneath the Shadow on Facebook as well as Instagram.
All right, honey. Yes. Now moving over to the men folk, kin folk. Alan.
Damn time.
Come on, man. All right, so
social media.
You can actually find me on Instagram. You can find my one page is Newman_hot takes on Instagram if you're looking for inspiration. You can also find me on Facebook at Alan, ALAN, M Newman Jr. Also, you can follow my page on there, which is Newman Hot Takes as well.
Mr. Hot Takes.
Hot takes, not pancakes. Hot takes. The next person say pancakes, I'm cutting.
Hot takes and hot takes. Dangelo, how can we get you or follow you on social media?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Probably won't get me too much on Facebook, but I'm on there as well. But I'll just give you my Snapchat, which is Tez2Nupe, TEZ, the number 2 NUPE.
Oh, you a noob?
You're a noob? Oh Lord. Lord.
I have a Snapchat, but I made that when it first came out, so I don't really like the username that I have for it. So no, I'm not using that.
Well, and I'm also on the book too, though. So I mean, every now and then, and that's what is it? Webb, WEBB, Dangelo, DANGELO. So they won't let me put my apostrophe in there and all that, but that's how it's on there. So
very good, thank you, sir. Kente, the Ferguson.
Yes.
How can we get you on social media?
Before I say that, I just want to let people know that we will do the after show at getvocal.com. I put the link in the chat if you guys want to just pop in for a minute and say hi to other people that were listening. Also, we'll be back on our regular scheduled night Monday for all new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show. You can get me on Twitter at KinteF. That's KINTEF. And you can get me on Instagram at Kinte, KINTE Ferguson, FERGERSON. And of course, the website is indyradio.org. That's INDY radio.org. Thank you so much, all you wonderful people, for coming on. Hopefully we will get you guys back on. And Shannon, how can we get you?
I am the same across all platforms. Shannon Ford, like the president, Jefferson, like the president. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I don't do Snapchat. That's past my capacity to understand. And if you are interested in poetry, I have 5 poetry books. I'm currently working on my 6th book. And those are all on Amazon under the same name, Shannon Ford Jefferson.
Nice.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks.
So thank you everyone for joining us and giving your input and your valuable experience in relationships and having a conversation about what men and women want in life and love and in relationships. And we look forward to doing this again next Monday.
Peace.